Hey, and welcome back. This is video number 2. The question is, how fast does your site load? Well, there are 3 different tools that I use that are free, and you can go to tools.pingdom.com. So if you go to this URL right here, minus all this stuff here, just go to tools.pingdom.com, and you'll be able to enter your URL here. Another site is called gtmetrics.com. So gtmetrics.com, and you'll be able to enter your URL in the box. And then, of course, we have Google Developers. Google gives you access to a tool that allows you to see the mobile speed. In other words, a mobile iPhone or iPad or Android phone and how fast it will load on there. And you'll actually be able to see it here. So you can see mobile and you can see the desktop as well. Now, the reason why I use all of these 3 tools instead of just one is so I can have a bird's eye view of all the different load times and what people are saying. Now, what I did here is I entered youtube.com. So using YouTube is a good example of a website that has a lot of videos on it that does take some time to load, but being that it is owned by Google, it should run pretty fast, right? So if we test it out with pingdom.com and I typed in YouTube, you can see the actual grade. It's 90 out of 100. And to be honest, 90 out of 100 is still quite high. Even though that might be an A minus, it's still high. And then we got the amount of requests, the load time, which is 609 milliseconds. And then, of course, the page size. That is about 950 kilobytes, so almost close to 1 megabyte. And then, of course, we take a look at GT Metrics. I like this site because it actually gives you a breakdown. And if we take a look at YouTube, we can also see that the page speed is A, but the Y slow grade is a B. So if you have this as an idea and as a comparison to what your site might look like, then you have a better idea. Okay, it's good if I'm getting, a B and I'm getting an A and I've got video on my site and things like that. Because the reason why I use youtube.com was specifically because it's got videos on it. And I'm aware that a lot of you probably will have videos as well. And then what I like about GT Metrics is it shows you the page speed, so you can actually see, specific recommendations, specific things that they're doing that is considered good, that is considered bad, something that you need to improve. Because just by looking at Pingdom itself, it tells you performance grade, and of course it gives you an idea of recommendations, which is good. And I like that, but I like GT Metrics in the sense that it gives you a lot more detail as to exactly what is good, what's good on your site, what's bad on your site that you need to improve. And that way, from that point on, you can actually create a game plan. So as you can see, some of these are Fs, some of these are Es, some of these are Bs, and you have an idea of what they are. And that way, it's not necessarily a guessing game. You know exactly what you need to fix, right? And then, of course, we have Google's developer tool, which if you go to developers.google.com/speed/page/speed/insights. And of course, you just go to this URL here. You can ignore the rest here, and you just type in the URL here, and you'll get to see the mobile view, what should be fixed, what should be considered fixed, like minimizing HTML, optimizing images, which these 2 are pretty much standard if you have HTML pages. And then, of course, desktop, what it looks like on the desktop, things that you could consider fixing, and things like that. So it's not a guessing game. So as you can see, it tells you exactly what you need to fix. So for example, it says eliminate render blocking JavaScript, leverage browser caching, which we'll talk about when we get into how to speed up WordPress sites and things like that with W3 total cache and things like that. So it actually tells you exactly, okay, so you need to leverage browser caching, blah, 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 what exactly it's triggering, what things are triggering on your site, and how to fix them. So use these 3 websites. I'd highly recommend them. And what I would recommend you do is after you make tweaks to your page, then I would rerun these scans. I would do test now. I would go back over to here and click on retest page, and I go back over here and analyze it again. Because that way you have a better idea of, okay, did what I just did actually improve the website? So sometimes, to make things easier for me and make things easier for you as well, this little tip helps. But if you take a screenshot and snapshot of this, that way I can always refer back to it every time I retest the page and get an idea of, okay, my page load time is 2 seconds. Now it's decreased to 1.5 seconds. My total page size and things like that have decreased, and so forth. So that way you have an idea of what you have actually improved and if it is actually working. Because otherwise it's simply a guessing game. So definitely go ahead, enter your URL of your website into these 3 different tools here. And we'll go on to the next video.